Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching India Tonight with me, Sumita. Kareer. Our top story this hour. Well, the battle for Delhi is heating up, and amidst that, raging on is the manifesto war in the national capital. Today, the Aam Aadmi Party National Convener Arvind Kejriwal, Chief Minister Ratishi and party leader Sanjay Singh, along with Manish Sisodia, unveiled another manifesto from the party for the upcoming polls. This manifesto was dubbed as Kejriwal's Guarantee. The manifesto promises several new things: new jobs, 24 hours water supply, world-class roads and a cleaner Yamuna. Now, these are goals that remain unmet despite the party being in power for the past many years. Now, the list also includes free travel in public buses, 50% discount on metro fares for school and college students. And remember, this is in addition to the promises that have been made by the party earlier, including 2,100 rupees per month as direct cash transfers to women, 18,000 rupees to pujaris and granthis, among several other freebie promises that have been made by the Arvind Kejriwal-backed party. Now, while Mr. Kejriwal is promised of fulfilling the manifesto promises if voted back to power, he also attacked the BJP's Sankalp Patra or manifesto, and he called them Chunavi Jumlas. Let's look at some reactions that are coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party and BJP, and then we'll be joined by our live guests tonight to discuss this big debate and to take it forward.
आज हम 15 गारंटी जारी कर रहे हैं। 15 केजरीवाल की गारंटियां जारी कर रहे हैं जो कि अगले 5 साल के अंदर पूरी की जाएंगी। सबसे पहली गारंटी है रोजगार की गारंटी। मैं पूरी दिल्ली में घूम रहा हूं। वैसे तो केंद्र सरकार के आंकड़ों के मुताबिक दिल्ली में सबसे कम बेरोजगारी है। राष्ट्रीय स्तर के ऊपर लगभग 6% बेरोजगारी दर है, लेकिन दिल्ली में लगभग 2% बेरोजगारी दर है। लेकिन चाहे एक भी बेरोजगार हो, बेरोजगार तो बेरोजगारी होता है। हम चाहते हैं कि दिल्ली में एक भी बेरोजगार नहीं होना चाहिए।
केजरीवाल को अब दिल्ली की जनता घोषणावाल कहने लग गई है कुछ दिनों से, क्योंकि जब उनको अपनी हार दिखाई दे रही है तो वो लगातार रोज नए झूठ, रोज नई सिग्नेचर, रोज नई कहानियाँ। केवल 12 दिन बचे हैं, दिल्ली में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनेगी। आज जो इन्होंने घोषणाएं करी हैं, पानी के गलत बिल माफ़, तो आए कैसे भाई? ये तो आप ही का डिपार्टमेंट है। बिजली के गलत बिल माफ़, ये तो आप ही का डिपार्टमेंट है। आए कैसे? सारी यमुना को साफ करेंगे, आपने आज तक नहीं की 11 साल में। आज भी केवल घोषणाएं 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 करे जा रहे हैं। 11 साल में काम क्या किया उसकी तो कोई तस्वीर नहीं दिखाई दे रही किसी भी चुनाव प्रसार में।
All right, and to discuss this big pitch about guarantee versus guarantee from both the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party, I'm now joined by Dr. Piyush Joshi, political analyst, and Kailash Adhikari, MD Governance Now. Thank you very much, Mr. Joshi and Kailash, for joining us here on ET Now. Let me come to you first, Mr. Joshi. Now, this seems to be a battle of guarantees really playing out. Kejriwal's guarantees versus Modi ki guarantees. Who do you think seems to be having an edge at the moment, and why is Arvind Kejriwal or Aam Aadmi Party seem to be copying Modi ki guarantees, because this is a slogan that the Prime Minister and of course the BJP has used in the past?
Well, good evening. Thank you for having me on this important discussion. As far as this guarantee is concerned, you remember that it was Mr. Kejriwal who first went ahead with this guarantee scheme when he announced Kejriwal's guarantee in Gujarat elections. And not only that, the Aam Aadmi Party volunteers went to the extent of distributing guarantee cards to each and every citizen of Gujarat. So that's where the guarantee, started from, because in the first tenure, Mr. Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party government was actually able to fulfill quite a lot of their promises. Second term was not as productive as the Aam Aadmi Party would have liked. As far as Delhi election is concerned, Aam Aadmi Party has a certainly clear edge. Why do they have this edge over the Bharatiya Janata Party? It is because of the already fulfilled promises. Partial they may be, but they have fulfilled certain promises to an extent. Like they have improved the educational infrastructure at the school education level at least. They have opened 530 odd Mohalla clinics, though they promised 1,000 Mohalla clinics. But an average Delhiite or rather an average Indian has so less expectation from the government that even partially fulfilled promises actually seem like a good deal, because an average Delhiite particularly the lower income section, will definitely believe that कि अभी जो मिल रहा है वो तो मिल जाए आम आदमी पार्टी से, बाकी फिर भारतीय जनता पार्टी या कोई सरकार चेंज होती है तो whether they will deliver or whether they will not deliver, that is the biggest question in front of the voter of Delhi. To my mind, Kejriwal ji has promised, and despite all these promises and all these public welfare schemes, as the Aam Aadmi Party calls them, and Revdi,
Right.
as the Prime Minister calls them, have maintained
Right.
a budget
Right.
of revenue surplus. So basically,
Right, Mr.
the
Joshi,
biggest,
Mr.
the biggest
Joshi, I'll have to
hindrance.
interject you here, and we'll come to that point about Revdi politics. We'll come to that point about freebie politics in just a bit. But let me take your point across to Kailash Adhikari. Kailash, now, Mr. Joshi is stating that the guarantee, the plank of guarantee, was first hewed by the Aam Aadmi Party and not the Prime Minister. How do you really respond to that? And in this entire politics of Bharosa politics, who do you think seems to be having an edge? Also react to the point that he stated about Mohalla clinics. I mean, partial promises have been met by the Aam Aadmi Party, but Mr. Joshi, I have to say that we don't have the basics in place. We have a huge pollution issue all year round. It used to be just during those 2-3 months in the winter season, but now it's all year round. People are coughing, people are getting ill every day. So how are you really stating that this is just partial delivery of promises? Kailash, if you could respond to that.
Sure. Sumita, the first point is, you can promise the moon and stars to the voters and you can fool them once or probably maximum twice. But the Indian voter is quite informed. Secondly, more than promises, how about the delivery? For the 15 promises that Mr. Kejriwal has given, all of them, nothing but they dent the coffers of the Delhi state government, when it comes to that. And in Punjab, we have seen where the Aam Aadmi Party is in power. About 2 years down the line or 2.5 years down the line, I think it was on your broadcast only where we discuss about the fact that how the VAT on the diesel has increased, how certain property taxes have increased, how certain municipal corporation taxes have increased, because at the end of the day, how certain salary payments of government officials have been missed. So there is the entire, the gap that comes. When you are coming in front of the public, your voter, and when you're promising that these are the 15 guarantees that I will fulfill a promise or my government will fulfill a promise, half of them which were promised earlier also, and they still remain undelivered, you should also give, I would call it a bureau to the public. If you're being so transparent of being an Aam Aadmi, how will you fulfill financially? You should tell the numbers that this is the revenue of the Delhi, the state. These are the expenses. This is the deficit or this is the surplus. If there is a deficit, how will I overcome that deficit? Because as far as my knowledge is concerned, a revenue surplus Delhi, which was now either the surplus has been dwindled or it has come into a revenue deficit. So forget about the fact that who introduced guarantees. Right. When was it introduced or whether it has benefited in Gujarat? Naturally, it has not benefited the Aam Aadmi Party, the result shows. But at the end of the day, how will you financially deliver? Is the state going to take debt burden? And if you're taking debt burden, how will you pay the interest of that?
But Kailash, when you talk about freebies, but Kailash, when you talk about freebies, I mean, freebies is one common theme that really has been, maintained by all parties in the fray. So whether it is the Congress party, whether it is the Aam Aadmi Party, whether it is the BJP, I mean, you guys have attacked each other earlier, but now it just seems that everybody is just announcing freebies after freebies with no care in the world on how this will really impact the taxpayers, the middle income taxpayers. Let me take that point to you, Mr. Joshi. Is this what voters really want, and shouldn't parties instead be incentivizing the middle class tax-paying voter?
We did participate on a similar topic on your program only, and I mentioned that we need to draw a line as far as the public welfare schemes are concerned and as far as the direct benefit transfer is concerned, because unless and until the state, in this particular case, the state of Delhi, is fiscally prudent in a fiscally prudent condition and the schemes are financially viable, then it's perfectly fine to offer the direct benefit transfers as well, or the cash transfers. But look at the state of Madhya Pradesh. I come from the state of Madhya Pradesh. The Ladli Behna Yojana, every 2 to 3 months, the state government has to borrow a debt of 5,000, 6,000 odd crore rupees. just to pay the installments of Ladli Bahina Yojana, the Janni Suraksha Yojana, and the list goes on and on and on. So as far as and look at the debt to GDP ratio, of course, Punjab is not in a fiscally healthy condition. That's why the Punjab government has delayed the direct benefit transfer of 1,000 rupees pension scheme for women. But Delhi is particularly having a debt to GDP ratio which is acceptable as compared to the ratio all across the Indian states. Delhi is having a much healthier inflow of all the finances. So I think as far as Delhi is concerned, Delhi may be in a position to deliver the promises.
Yes, Mr.
that has
Joshi,
been
but the
promised by
party has
Aam Aadmi
not
Party,
really,
but
when
the
it
state
makes all of
government-
these promises that it will provide employment, that it will, of course, be giving, 18,000 rupees and, of course, various other freebies, both the parties, the BJP and, of course, the Aam Aadmi Party, they haven't really explained how these promises will be met and what kind of a dent will it really lead to states' coffers, union territories' coffers. So that really remains a big issue. And last time, like you rightly said, we did issue a couple of, things that could be brought in to keep this freebie politics in check. But again, we'll have to see whether self-regulation does work or not. Let me come to you, Kailash. Now, the big issue this election, besides, of course, women, there have been freebies for women. There is also a bit of, appeasement to the Muslim voter and, of course, the Dalit backward caste voter. But the other big overhang that the Aam Aadmi Party really has is the Sheesh Mahal controversy. In fact, just days ahead of the election, BJP has released a video that actually showcases Mr. Kejriwal's house insides in which he used to reside earlier. But the question really is corruption sticking in the minds of voters? Has there been a credibility loss for the Aam Aadmi Party? What is it that you're picking up, from voters who are all set to vote come February 5th?
Sumita, corruption has always been a sticking point in the minds of the voters, not only the Delhi voters, but also nationally. If you see in 2014, the kind of mandate that the Bharatiya Janata Party got when it was Narendra Modi, Honorable Prime Minister's first term, it was also because of the fact that the kind of corruption that the Congress government seeded in from 2009 to 2014. You take the CAG issue or the 2D issue or any other issue. So corruption is a matter of point. And the Bharatiya Janata Party has correctly prompted out the kind of Sheesh Mahal politics that the Aam Aadmi Party has dwelled into. While certain parts of Delhi are reeling, I mean, most of the Delhi is reeling under massive pollution, most polluted city. The manifesto does not promises on steps that the government or the Aam Aadmi Party wishes to take to combat that. And if you see that the problem of sewage, I mean, there are areas and areas other than South or even Lutyens, Delhi, where a majority of the population resides, and there is no talk about the fact that how will the party actually do about treatment of sewage or waste, which leads to mammoth diseases and communicable diseases when times come. So a lot of factor on public hygiene is not tackled about, and where you try to dole out certain financial aid in the garb of taking votes, that is only focused upon.
Absolutely, Kailash. And when you talk about, sewage problem or, whether it is the cleaning of Yamuna or the pollution problem, in fact, Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party seem to be saying that it is the BJP which is actually mixing substances, toxic substances in Yamuna, and they're deliberately doing this. In fact, he stated that the BJP is using biological weapons to kill Delhiites. This excuse clearly doesn't work, Mr. Joshi, because he had so many years to actually resolve that problem, and he can't really get by just by saying that, there were years that were spent during the COVID-19 pandemic and then he was inside the jail. Why did he not resign? If he was inside the jail, like right now, Atishi is the chief minister. Why couldn't have Atishi become the chief minister then when he was in jail and taken up all of these responsibilities?
So that's actually very interesting when Mr. Kejriwal takes these claims and turns it around and points his finger at the Bharatiya Janata Party, because that's when he is shifting the narrative, and he is very cunning and smart at that. I personally believe that Mr. Kejriwal has enough intelligence on his side to execute whatever he decides. He has done it in the past. Whether it is his delivery of all the essential government documents at home. We have hardly ever thought about such a scheme that 100 odd documents will be delivered at home. To my mind, the biggest challenge to Mr. Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party government, if they come to power back again, which I think they will be the LG, because after 2021, the situation has actually changed. After the Modi government brought the ordinance and made the LG in charge, So LG has been obstructing a lot of good policies as well. So how to circumvent that particular hindrance, that particular hurdle remains to be seen, because this problem is not going to go. So whatever you are promising, you have to deliver on the ground, because as far as this election is concerned, the people may be happy with the partial fulfillment of promises, but come election, come 2030 next election, the people are going to ask you questions, and tough questions at that. And this remains to be seen, and this is very interesting how they are going to circumvent the LG and get all these promises executed. So that is interesting. As far as the pollution issue is concerned, as far as the cleaning of Yamuna is concerned, like imagine they did go with formation of STP, and all the nalas and all the drains that were draining into the river Yamuna. Lot of them were before the borders of Delhi, right from the state of Haryana, and based on that, Mr. Kejriwal pointed out. But then again, you need to deal with all these problems. You cannot say that the BJP and Haryana is doing that. That's why we are not able to solve it.
So then you resign. So then you take accountability. Then you take accountability.
You have to be accountable.
Then you take accountability, because Mr. Kejriwal, for the past two elections, he's been mentioning that we will clean the Yamuna, we will clean the pollution. But every year, sir, you will also know, if you're residing right here, that every year when the pollution mark breaches dangerous levels, it's only then. It's only when the Supreme Court actually takes cognizance of this issue that all of these parties start working. And like you rightly said, when you speak about agencies not being in control of the Aam Aadmi Party, and more power residing with the LG, but certainly with respect to the cleaning of roads, with removing potholes, etc., these are very well things that could have been undertaken by Mr. Kejriwal himself. Well, we're completely running out of time, gentlemen. Thank you very much, Kailash, and thank you very much, Mr. Joshi, for taking the time out and speaking with ET Now. Ladies and gentlemen, we end the debate here. It's a three-way fight for the national capital. It's reaching its crescendo ahead of February 5th elections. And so far, it's been only just about freebies. But is it going to be the key to winning Delhi? When you vote, do weigh in the promises that have been made by these parties. You have to balance freebies and, of course, development, and not just vote for parties that are just grabbing the lowest hanging fruits of freebies. Well, time now for us to sip into a quick break, with lots more coming up on the other side.